Simon & Schuster Audio presents
Rainbow, Rainbow by Lydia Conklin, read by Julia Weldon. Laramie time. Maggie and I had been living in Wyoming for 3 months when I finally agreed we could get pregnant. We were walking on a boulevard downtown over snow that was crunchy and slushy by turns, heading home from a disappointing lunch of lo mein made with white spaghetti. The air was so sharply freezing, the meal churning so unhappily through our guts, that I longed to cheer the afternoon. I'd made up my mind the week before, but I didn't find the right moment to tell her until we were trudging through uncleared drifts in front of the former movie theater. The Christian who'd bought the place for nothing had arranged the plastic letters into rhetoric on the marquee. God is listening. God knows you're rotten. Maggie, I said, taking her hand, I've decided. Last week's test results had exposed her declining fertility. If we wanted to do this, it had to be now. She aimed her freckled stub nose at me and studied my face. Where to get dessert? She spoke bluntly, the joke of what she really hoped in the deadness of her words. I want to have a kid with you. I meant the words to sound natural, but invested with meaning, inflected emotion on kid and you. Those two words the sum total of my future reality. But the sentence bumbled out, awkward, half-swallowed. Amazing, she spoke flatly, her unseasonable tennis shoes sinking into the slush. Why was she speaking flatly? Maggie had begged me for a kid for years. She should have jumped into my arms when I agreed. She should have fucked me right there on the boulevard, even though it was winter in Laramie, even though we're lesbians, and fucking wouldn't help with getting the kid. Aren't you happy? A tear occluded one eye, but she squeezed it to a slit, squeezed both eyes closed. When she opened them, they were clear and dry. Thank you. I am happy. She sounded mechanical, but sometimes she was like that, a sweet logic robot. She waited until we stepped onto the curb on Custer Street to clamp me in a cold hug. That was it. After 5 years of debate, after crying and threatening to leave, after pointing out every child, even lumpy ones, after invoking hormones and decreased viability, and geriatric pregnancies whenever worry or resentment surged through her. Not to mention last week's meltdown over the test results. And now, look at her, unsurprised. Maybe she figured I wouldn't have moved across the country to spend a year deciding not to have a kid with her. But I was unpredictable and stubborn. She knew better than to count on me. At 37, Maggie was 3 years older than me and beyond ready. I'd wanted to develop my career before motherhood. For the last few years, I'd drawn a comic strip about lesbian turtles. Material success with comics.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?